There's a lot going on, and it sort of feels like they were like, you thought we could only scare you in the dark. Well, f*** you.
Someone's been here. Not long ago.
Hello and welcome to a new video series we're trying out here on Rock Paper Shotgun called My Favourite Thing in... ... It's self-explanatory, really. I, Colm Ahern, will chat to one of the lovely RPS staffers about a spang new video game they've been playing and get them to tell me about their favourite thing in it. In some cases, they'll have to think long and hard about their choice because the game they've been playing mightn't be that great, while other, better games will have multiple things for them to pick. Deputy Editor Alice Bell has been playing the third game in developer Frictional Games' much-loved horror series Amnesia Rebirth. So I've asked her to chat to me about the one aspect of the game she enjoys more than anything else. So Alice, what is your favourite thing in Amnesia Rebirth?
My favourite thing in Amnesia Rebirth is the scope and variety and layering in the environments.
I would have thought that the environments in Amnesia Rebirth would have just been dark and dreary and horror-like, I suppose, but they're not.
Well, Colm, no. This is the thing. So Frictional's previous games and the Amnesia games as well, there is obviously a big thing about darkness and shadow. And it's, you know, the first Amnesia game was in this big gothic castle, and there are, you know, rooms that aren't horrible and grim, but it's mostly sort of dark and enclosed. And then Soma, which was Frictional's last horror game, was underwater in this underwater facility, and that was quite kind of dark and damp and drippy a lot of the time as well. But in Rebirth, which is a sort of, it's a direct and indirect follow-up to Amnesia, there's a lot more variety, and so there's a sunny desert, and one of the first things that happens is that you get told to maybe you should stay in the shadow and not stay in the sun too much because it might burn you, which I thought was a good joke for starting an Amnesia game with. There's a ruined fort, there are underground caves, there are some older structures as well. I don't want to spoil too much. That's the thing, I don't want to spoil loads. But there's a lot going on, and it sort of feels like they were like, you thought we could only scare you in the dark. Well, f*** you.
Well, that was going to be my question, is how fearful are you when you are in a sunny desert, or are you only in those types of environments in the moments of calm?
Well, in Rebirth, it is very good at mixing it up and using sort of environmental cues to make you scared, even when nothing is about to happen. It's sort of like, do you remember in Alien Isolation, there was loads of stuff in the environment that sort of looked a bit like the alien, piping and stuff. There are some monsters in Amnesia, but there are some sort of environmental cues for them, like tunnels that have some grim, bony, fleshy bits around them and stuff, that you will see sprinkled throughout the game. So you're always on edge because you'll walk past one of them and then think, oh God, the monster might come up behind me now, or what. So even when you're alone, it's good at making you afeard that you're not.
But because this is a horror game and, you know, you have the paranormal and supernatural and whatever else, you know, if I'm in a sunny desert, can I trust that this won't turn into some sort of manky, disgusting dungeon?
Well, no, that's the thing. I did say that it's sort of a direct and indirect sequel. So if you played Amnesia, and if you know Amnesia loads, Rebirth is set 100 years later, give or take, and you go to the expedition and sort of the place that started it all for Amnesia. But if you don't know it, I should say it's not at all an issue. It's still like a creepy horror game on its own merit. There are some mechanics, I suppose, in this one that sort of change the environment and make you look at the environment in a slightly different way. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but you basically get a sort of magic, not a Bernard's watch, because that's stopping time, isn't it? But
that would have been brilliant.
But a sort of magical bracelet thing that lets you teleport, or I suppose move between environments in a limited way. So you're switching between maybe a desert or a room in the fort or a cave and then to another place entirely. And each time it sort of opens that environment up a little bit more. Like you'll see a little bit more of the cave system, or you'll see it in a different way, or you'll learn something new, or you'll find some, ruins that you didn't know were there. And it does this as well, not just with that, but some cutscene-y events as well, where you'll fall through a floor and suddenly you're in a big cistern that was much older than the ruin that you were in on top of it, and things like that. And I think it's maybe them showing off a little bit because it's in the newer game engine that they use for Soma as well. And it feels like them sort of being like, we're really good at making environments and we're really good at doing horror now, so screw you. Amnesia Rebirth has been in development for quite a while, and I think they've been quite open about how it's sort of changed over time, and they were, I think, intending to do quite a straight sequel, and it's changed quite a lot. I think there are some times when you can see that, and that there are some sort of set piece moments that maybe feel a bit disconnected slightly from the game around them, and these slightly strange environments where you can maybe see the edges haven't been smoothed over into the rest of the game. But in general, I think it's in terms of the world, or worlds I should say, that they've kind of made a little tease for you there. I think it's probably their best yet.
Mother Mary, not again.
Thanks very much for chatting with me today, Alice. And if you, dear viewer, would like to check out Alice's full thoughts on Amnesia Rebirth, be sure to have a read of her written review on rockpapershotgun.com. Thanks very much for watching, you absolute star. We hope to see you again soon as we learn more about people's favourite things in video games.